man. I'm gonna read through these comments, man. And get your 2 cents. Arthur said, also, it's really easy to work for free for hundreds of years when you're born into slavery. Yeah, think about that. An infant born into slavery, that's all they know. They didn't know anything else. That's true. That's very
Yeah.
true. Um, and in Haiti, shout out to Tariq because he did a documentary called 1804, which is very good, and it talked about when it came to Haiti, the mortality rate was so high that they always had to replace the enslaved group of people. So there were always fresh fresh Africans arriving on the island, and so they didn't really build a population where people were necessarily, a lot of people were birthed into slavery. So that's a different dynamic. HB Gone Global said that stuff was documented and vile. Just imagine what took place that was undocumented. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Powell says slavery was an institution, a way of life. That's like asking why do black kids continue to go to public schools and get very little out of it. And then let's see. Big Mike said Haitian Americans in Miami have reported feeling particularly marginalized in comparison to Cuban Americans. That's a fact. Who have had more expedited path to residency for generations. Yeah, the white in America took notes on the Haitian Revolution as to double down on the Black liberation movement in Africa. That is true as well. Style Kings in the building. Salute, salute. Ronin, man, what's your thoughts, man, on everything so far?
I mean, to me, you're right on point. When it comes to Christianity, who established it first, me and you had several conversations at length, about the Orthodox Jews out of Ethiopia. I actually had you pick up a Bible for me from out of Ethiopia, for that specific fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a lot of things that people are misinformed about, don't understand. The Catholic religion took the original Bible and they broke it up into a controllable story or narrative. And that narrative is what carries through and why they had the Crusades. They were trying to re-indoctrinate even Africans and Ethiopians into believing their Bible over the original. They had the canon tales. Any Christian theologian will tell you about the canon tales when it came to Catholic religion and what books of the Bible they were going to keep in the Bible for King James Version. What Bible do you think they were taking those books out of? See, Ethiopian Bible. Specific books were left out for that reason, so that they can control the narrative and obeying a ultimate master. And that's how they try to re-enslave the minds of overall communities with that King James Bible. But yeah, the Orthodox Ethiopian Christian Bible is the original Bible that was used way before Christianity through the Catholic religion even came about.
Right. And I'm going to talk about that at length, probably the next time I go live. But I see two types of, I don't want to say two types of people of European descent, but I see two desires. There's a desire to go to heaven after death, and there's a desire to have your quote unquote heaven on earth. And the remixing of religion basically put religion being put in an image of whites. I mean, that was the premise to support white supremacy. All the benefit that comes from white as being supreme gives them this sense of heaven on earth, where they live fruitfully. They're at the top of the food chain. Capitalism adds to that because you have to have a rich and poor system in capitalism. And so dominance, control, abundance of sex, servants, the highest quality of life that one could ever imagine has come from the foundation that was set by white supremacy, as that religion is in the image of us. We control it. We were the chosen ones, and that was for them to get heaven on earth. Now, what I'm trying to talk about the other aspect is the people that want heaven after death, which is why they play both sides, right? They want to be, some people are part-time devil and part-time not the devil, you know what I mean? So part-time devils, heaven on earth, part-time not the devil, I want to do something that's going to get me to heaven. And that's why, hence, we're talking about the chosen people, and I'm saying the chosen people are foundational Black Americans. Heartthrob Never, what's good, man?
What's going on, Rob? Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good. Hey, salute to you, man. I appreciate everything you're doing since I came across you. I'm new to YouTube, but since I came across your work, I appreciate the work you're putting in, man. Wanted to put that out there first. But definitely this topic is, we could talk for 20 years straight because it's so much history, so much trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like personally, we dealing with PTSD on a genetic level from everything. Like, when we talk about like the cities being flooded and stuff, man, it's like, where I'm from, a lot of, American Blacks, they don't really get into swimming and stuff. Like, they're not afraid of water. Like, they're not afraid to get in it, but they don't swim like other people do. But me personally, I don't. To this day, I don't know how to swim because I was always on the court. But I think at a genetic level, we got like trauma that just ain't been dealt with since, what they've been doing to us. And for people to sit around from other countries, other ethnic groups, and to have come out their mouth that you shouldn't expect reparations or y'all need to get over it. Like, this is the most perplexing ideology to me, because what it's indicating is something is wrong mentally with these people. Like, nobody else would expect no other ethnic group to deal with what American Blacks have dealt with and not say nothing. Nobody would expect that.
Right.
But they expect that out of us, man. So I'll yield back for a moment, because like I said, I'll be talking all day on here, bro.
No, that's good. I mean, but at the same time, it's like we're supposed to be the ones that are the exception. Oh, we're supposed to turn the other cheek. Even when the Bible speaks of turning the other cheek, it's like one time. We've turned our cheek multiple times.
Right.
And when do you say enough is enough?
Exactly.
You will get your heaven later. Don't don't worry about it. It's coming. It's coming later.
Right.
And the funny thing is, they acknowledge that, right?
Yeah.
They acknowledge that there is some good gonna come from what we endure. That's the sick part about it.
Yeah,
I mean, even in slavery, they know what Christianity was supposed to mean to white people about forgiveness, inclusion, and all these other things. You really went against what you were preaching even in your own churches in order to enable yourself to have slaves and feel like you're not doing anything wrong. You ignored a part of the Bible that you follow in order to do the things you wanted to do, and you got to pick and choose which things you wanted to believe and which things you didn't want to believe or think that was right. So, like you said, morally and ethically, white people, until they do right by us, can never say they're 100% believers in the faith, because they're going against their own faith in order to do the things they're doing, which is to exclude us from being equals.
Yeah.
Man.
I wonder if they are justifying that if they look at the Jews as a chosen people, is that their ticket to heaven? Is that their ticket to heaven, protecting the Jews?
Yeah, they gotta be totally totally miss like they gotta be misled completely by whatever they are learning or being taught about that situation. Because man, I don't want to do this to the show, but when you get into those scriptures, man, it's only one group of people that fit those prophecies and fit everything in that book, man. It ain't no way around it. There's no way around it. No other group of people. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they worshiping. There's only one group of people that fit every prophecy in that book. And the thing about it is, when we thought that Christ was white, when we thought all the apostles and disciples was white, we didn't have no problem.
Right.
We got on our knees and prayed. We did all of that. We didn't have no problem with it, man. But when we find out that he wasn't white, and we say, okay, well, y'all been lying about this, so okay, Christ is black. And then from them, all of a sudden, it's, well, color doesn't matter. If it didn't matter, then why'd y'all do such a unscrupulous job of making us think that Christ and the individuals in the Bible was white, if it don't matter? You see, like, there's no. Let me tell you this story, man. I left from Ohio, moving to Texas. So I'm originally from Ohio, but I'm in Texas now. And when I got to Texas, I got this job working security at this, real large place. But obviously they have a lot of immigrants in there and people from overseas that work there. And somehow we got on a discussion about kind of what we're talking about now, about who the true Jews are. And this one guy, he's part Egyptian.
We're not saying who the true Jews are. We're just saying that.
Well, no. I know what I'm just saying from where the conversation went. No, I know we're not talking about who the true Jews are, but I'm talking about the conversation I was having with this guy. Okay. But who the true people, or I'll put it this way, who some people are in the Bible that people don't think are in the Bible. So he's Egyptian and I want to say Palestinian or something. And so I broke it down to him, and I was like, I said, what would you think if you found out that black people were Jews too? And he had the most smirkish laugh, like, oh no, that's not true. I said, well, what if you find out that's true? I said, if you find out that that's true, I said, would you? Because he's I think he said he was Islamic or something, but he claimed that he believed in the Bible. I said, so if you found out these people were Jews as well, I said, would you accept them as Jews, and would you, accept, the Most High? And he said, nah. I said, you wouldn't want to be a part of that kingdom if you found out the truth that that's what it was? He said, no, he'd rather go to hell. That's what he said.
Don't they know Jesus? Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, bro.
I mean, Jesus was a Jew. Jesus was a Jew. He was a rabbi at 14, and we know Jesus wasn't European.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if Jesus was a Jew, and Jesus is not European, Jesus wasn't white. He was not white. Then what does that make? What does that make Jews? So that's a rhetorical question, but
Yeah, I was just dumbfounded, man, because I brought that story up to illustrate how the utter hate towards a people how it exists with these people from all over the place, man. Like, it's like, it don't matter what ethnicity they is. I'm not saying they all like that. I'm not saying every person in every ethnicity feels that way towards us, but it's too many that do. It's too many multiple ethnic groups that have a large amount of people who feel the way that they do about American blacks, and that's strange to me, because we ain't done nothing to none of them.
Exactly. You see these racial lines in Christianity, in Judaism, in Islam. You know, you see these racial lines. You know,
Yeah.
it's the writing is on the wall. Like, it's clear. It's not covert anymore. It's very in your face. Like, we see racism. It is clear as day to everybody now. It's everybody now. And what we're saying is there has to be a reckoning. A reckoning has to be put in place. You know.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, either a reckoning or perish, if you consider eternal life. You know.
Right. I mean, because the scriptures say, you know, on that, that final exodus out of here, if I read it correct, that we coming out of here with a lot of substance. So I don't know, you know, if that's in the form of reparations or what it is, but it say we coming out of here, we're going to be coming out of here with a lot.
Like Jacob, like I read it earlier, Jacob was a slave, and he came out second in charge in Egypt, living in a palace, and Egypt was probably the most richest place to be in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was a foundation.
I think Jacob was an architect at that. He was designing.
Yeah. He helped build it.
Mm-hmm.
He helped build Egypt, was thrown in jail. And he came out, you know, pretty much running the country. And so that was and God spoke to Jacob and seeing Jacob's faith. So that's why the topic of faith, when it comes to Black Americans, it's a double-edged sword, because true scripture says that we should have faith in the most difficult, extreme situations, which slavery was. But then on the other hand, that's what our colonizers used to tell us, like you need to be good slaves, you need to be faithful, because you're gonna get heaven later. So I mentioned earlier about Romans 25, where they say exchange the truth for a lie. So it's difficult for me now to hear the notion that we had to suffer. We have to be slaves in order to get something good in return, when we see our oppressors didn't have to go through that to have their heaven on earth. But the story of Jacob does show that God is sending a message to say that he will have something great for people that have endured the most, which is our ancestors. So I don't know offhand what the Bible describes as what that looks like. I know Heartthrob, you was kind of alluding to some things, but yeah, it's something. Whatever it is beyond imaginable. Shout out to Nomadically Speaking.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt, man. It's so much dialogue going on right now. You know, I caught your short stream when you was at the rally for reparations, bro, and talking to some people about that. And so we got this young brother out there, boots to the ground. You know what I'm saying? That made me proud to see you out there, man. Because we don't have as many people as we should that are that involved and motivated now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people forget, you know what I'm saying? Like forget about how, or forget about what we experienced. You know, it's not that far removed, Jim Crow. Like you showed the thing with Reggie Jackson. You know, this ain't that long ago, man. People still alive that dealt with these situations. You know, and one of the biggest ones outside of Reggie Jackson, the Muhammad Ali thing, like the same thing. You know, when he was in the South or came home from the war, or no, not from the war, but from the Olympics or something, where he just won the Olympic title, and go to a restaurant to eat, and they refuse him to come in there because the American black. But then he see Africans go in, and the restaurant owners is like, "Oh, they good, they can come in. Y'all, they're not like them." And I'm like, "Dang, like, what is this? Like, what is this conundrum?"
Right.
You know,
and what happened in Germany during the Olympics too.
Man, it just make you wonder, like, so everybody knows that everybody else can see, well, no, they're American black. We're African, we're this or we're that, but they're American black. So it's something that we don't know. It's still, I don't mean to make this all spookism, you know, but there's something going on that we don't know, man. That we don't know. Like, because growing up, there was a lot of situations that I witnessed, and it always had me confused the way that the turnout for certain situations would happen. Like, for example, it would be black people in my neighborhood, but it was always something a little bit off. Not like they was weird or nothing, but it was something, they didn't act quite like my family and my relatives. It was something a little bit different. And a lot of times I remember their parents wouldn't even like to speak around us if we was over at their house playing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of them didn't even really speak. And as I got older, when I started figuring it, I said, oh, when I figured it out and then found out I wasn't alone in understanding that these are other black ethnic groups, your green behind don't know no better. You just think everybody is black. Right. American black, that is.
Right.
And to find out that we're not all just one black family and that people make these delineations and distinctions between us, it just made everything so much clearer. Like, we was never supposed to figure this out.
True.
They hoped we would never figure it out.
Right.
But that's the thing, though. Think about what you just alluded to. So I said that our oppressors, they understand that there's a heaven after death, but they want their heaven now. And so the people that come over here, and Tariq talk about it a lot, even black immigrants, they take on white supremacy. They take their talking points. They treat us like they treated to, so they can have their heaven on earth. Everybody wants to have heaven on earth. And for them to be treated a little better, for them to have, the trinkets, or, for them to have a higher place in society, they have to take on, white supremacy, or the black immigrants. So that is the underlining. This is why that solidifies why we're the chosen people, because even our brothers and sisters from the continent and everywhere else are participating in keeping us down. Everybody is working against us to keep us down.
Right, man.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. That's what, like, real talk. Once I get better at, at YouTube and everything, I don't even got my camera set. So I'm like, I don't want to be looking crazy. But once I get this YouTube thing set up, man, I want to set up like a weekly global panel to get these people on and state your case. You in court right now. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody want to talk about American blacks or FBA. We ain't this, we ain't that, but we know our history. We ain't just talking. We can sit it out there with all the receipts, and I'm talking about from baby boomer down to Z. We know what we're talking about, and we know what we've been through. You don't know your history, bruh. We know more about your history than you know about ours, and ours is way more complex. This ain't 1 + 1 type, yo. This is calculus deal.
And to add to that, I've heard, immigrants, and unfortunately they say, even with voting, oh, I don't have any skin in the game.
Deep.
Fuck. What you mean you don't have any skin in the game?
It's deep.
You know what I'm saying? Had you been a FBA, you would understand you absolutely have skin in this game when it comes to protecting what we're doing now and establishing ourselves and our ancestors or our children and our legacy. You absolutely have to participate in this system.
Yeah, and they do. Like Tariq revealed something else about that very thing, which is what I had figured out as well. But within our communities, we'll think that these people are FBA or American black, and we'll find out that they, and no diss to them, but they might be Nigerian, Ghanaian, from the continent, from the islands or whatever. But they'll be in our communities, living amongst us, but will have their own political,
values.
Yeah, well, not just values, but political, political concerns or values that would, but it only concerns just them.
Mm-hmm.
Like where this lady in Atlanta, she put it out there that like the Jamaicans and Nigerians, they work together to basically have rulership over us and our communities. Like he put that out. He played the clip, and I said I already knew this, but to hear it, it just make you like, man, like it's this deep, man. So that's what I'm saying. Like when I get this YouTube thing right, man, I'm gonna have this panel, this weekly global panel for all of them. They can all come up on that panel, however many things, Zoom or StreamYard, or I'm gonna have the whole panel full, one by one. Me and the army, whoever want to come on and help me get at them about what they talking about. We're gonna shoot down everything that they talking about. Because the other thing that gets me is how they'll say, well, we look at American blacks or FBA this way because y'all are violent in the hood and y'all commit all this crime against each other. But I'm thinking like, hey, over there, y'all ain't got no room. And this is for the islands and the continent. Nobody is more violent than any of the, groups that y'all have there, chopping off arms and killing political leaders. And there's no room to
total genocide against the tribes. I mean, it doesn't even stop with that. They try to wipe out whole tribes.
Yeah,
when they have infighting. Yeah.
Like there's no, you cannot compare what we are doing over here. And I'm not saying it's right, but you can't compare this level of, violence and stuff to what's going on over there in on the continent and on these islands.
Right.
Somebody asked a question. They said, "Are you from Cleveland?"
Am I? No, close to Cleveland. I'm from a place called Mansfield, so it's about 70 miles south of Cleveland.
Okay. He might say. He said, "I think I might know her in the comment section." Okay. Shout out to HB, man. I was gonna say real quick, and you guys can give me your opinion on this, but I've noticed that I haven't really heard negative things from the Haitian community. I mean, they seem to be more, I would say, friendlier than the other people from the islands or Africa. The Haitians. And Haiti got a unique history as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, I just kind of wanted to point that out. But yeah, HB man, what you got for us, bro?
Yeah, what's good, man? Tapped in for Afro Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what? I wanted to say this, because y'all was talking about the Bible earlier.
Hey, you're muted,
Like these
fam.
guys get a lot of flack. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys get a lot of flack, man. But I've seen them boys do some good work, man. Especially when they're dealing with white supremacists, suspected white supremacists, or the Hebrew Israelites, man, the Black Hebrew Israelites. Man, the guys in San Diego, man. I've seen these guys make white people kiss their boots, dog. Like
Really?
they dropped that scripture. Dog, it's on YouTube, dog. I've seen it many a times. Like I've been out there myself, and I seen them guys quote that scripture, and like some of these Bible thumpers think they like know the Bible, but they hit them so hard with them scriptures and hit him with the precepts and all that shit, man. Like I literally seen white people kiss their boots, man, and straight damn near convert on the spot, dog. Like to believe that black people are the chosen people in the Bible, dog. Like black FBAs.
Yeah. I mean, it was a reason. I think it's a reason God gave us the United States. The greatest country in the world. It wasn't. The saying always goes that all glory goes to God. So I don't want to say America was like a gift, but because we worked to build it. But the jealousy comes from that this group of people were the chosen people to be in this great land, the greatest country that ever existed. And I think that is a sign from God that's saying that there's more to come. There's more to come. And reparations got to be next. It got to be next.
Look, man, black people, man, just like they too slow to getting on code because what I'm saying. You got a lot of people that work around white people, so they don't want to, rock the boat. You know what I'm saying? So it's I grew up in the South, man, and I see how like my brother-in-law how he be talking to like how he referred to his his boss and shit, like what I'm saying, instead of him calling him such and such, he be like, my boss, yes boss. I was like, damn. I'm like, bro, it's 24, bro. You sound like a slave on the plantation. You know what I'm
Hell
saying?
no. Ain't no way I'm doing all that.
Man, I'm telling you, man, and it's a lot of people like that, man. They got that
Couldn't hear nothing the
mindset
brother
because
said. I don't know. I don't know. I can't. Y'all can hear him. I can't hear him though.
hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Is
you.
my audio good or not?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, but it's like, man, these guys are like, they still defeated, man. And like even when I talk to my family about like reparations and like trying to get off that Democrat train and shit, man, it's like, man, it's hard. I'm like, bro, why y'all like? Look, I be providing evidence. I'm like, yo, Kamala Harris just sit here and showed you in this video. She said she ain't gonna do shit just for black people, or she ain't gonna do nothing for black people. And then she just did it again. I mean, what is it, Steve Harvey? Did y'all see that Steve Harvey video? With
No, I heard about it.
him and man, bro, and she like all the stuff he was saying, he was just basically shucking and jiving. And she was just shaking her head, yes, in agreement to everything he's saying. I'm like, bro, she's just like in y'all face. She playing in our face. And these people still get out here and vote Democrat. And also I have known that a lot of these foreign tellers, man, they heavy on that Democrat train. And it's just like a detriment to us, man, that we trying to be all inclusive. I think we really need to stop like inviting people to the cookout and all that shit, man, because that shit ain't helping us, man. We thought it was gonna help us, but it seemed like people ain't waking up fast enough to see like, damn, these people playing in our face.
That's facts, man. That's facts, man. The writing on the wall, man. But everything is how everything is playing out, man. everybody wants to have their heaven now, and not later. Well, they want it later too, but they want it now too. And everybody is doing everything they can, to do that. And for whatever reason is, it says in order for you to have heaven on earth, you got to follow this white supremacist playbook, and you have to look at foundational Black Americans as the number one threat, the number one enemy. That's the only way that you're gonna get trinkets in society. That's the bottom line, man. I got to think about it some more, man. But the desire to have power and to have wealth is a motivation. Is the motivation behind it? That's why the hatred is about us getting reparations, because we get reparations. One, that means it's harder for other groups to catch up, right? And reparations put us pretty much behind the right form of reparations will put us right behind white people economically, worldwide. We'll be the wealthiest group of people outside, foundational white people in America. And people don't like the idea of seeing us at that high level of social economic status. That they can't fathom seeing that. Unfortunately,
They don't like it. They're intimidated by it.
That's true.
Let's use that word. They're intimidated by seeing us in power, because they already know by race we are the strongest.
That's true.
I like how all the excuses of when it comes to us getting our money, they worrying about how we're gonna spend our money, which is the craziest thing I ever heard. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why are you concerned about how we're gonna spend our money? The money is gonna go back into the economy and stimulate the economy. But y'all don't worry about how the Native Americans spending their money. Y'all don't worry about how the Jewish and all these other people who get reparation payments, Ukraine, you don't worry about how they spend their money. The immigrants that come into here that get damn checks, they put up in hotels, all in the Black community and shit. Y'all don't worry about how they get their money. I mean, how they spend their money. It's always, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, it's gonna crash the economy. But when it comes to other people getting stuff, you never hear none of these financial gurus come out saying anything about, you know what I'm saying, it crashing the American economy. You know what I'm saying? So like here in America, man, it's just this deep, vile hatred of us, only us, and shit, man. I mean, like Black people just need to get the fuck on code, man. Stop playing around.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got another panelist, man. Oh yeah, Peso, what's good?
Yeah, what's up? I can't tell y'all what to do. Y'all are grown men. But let me just say this. There's a lot of other things more productive than talking about reparations, because you'll never get it. So I don't know why. Unfortunately, we have a lot of African Americans, and I'm gonna say African Americans because this is an African American thing. We got a lot of people that dropped off from the Al Sharptons, like aka Umar Johnson and Tariq Nasheed and the rest of these guys, and trying to pump us up and sell us sell us a dream. We'll never get reparations. There's too many obstacles.
They said we'll never
There's
get a
too
black president. They said we'll never get a quote unquote black president.
did we get a black president? That's still up for debate. And let me say this. We got it. And let's just go with your theory for a second. Say we got a black president. Okay, we got a black president. We didn't get reparations. Now, wouldn't it that would have been the perfect time to get reparations, right? When you had a black president.
If we had one, yeah.
You didn't get reparations when you had a so-called quote unquote black president. Let's just keep it 100%. You can kind of juxtapose how African countries are ran, just like you can juxtapose how European countries are ran. And let me say this: black people, if you think Africans don't even care about themselves, about their people, so how in the hell is a group of so-called Europeans, because America is a European country, how in the world you think that Europeans are gonna look after you if when Africans themselves don't even look out for their own people? Not saying that if I had a choice, I will rather white people, because I think white people would do right by us more than Africans would. But you expecting a European country to give you X amount of dollars. And here's the funny part is that even if they do give you the money, let's just take a look at what was that they gave us during COVID? What was it called? Stimulus?
Stimulus checks.
Yeah, stimulus checks. They gave us stimulus checks. That money went right back into the economy. People bought whatever they wanted to buy, took trips, vagina, cars, food, whatever they wanted to spend, it went straight back into the economy. So even if they decided to give you a so-called reparations, the majority of the people would take their money and they would go right back into the economy, which in turn would go back into the pretty much
White
the
man.
white economy.
Now let me ask you this real quick. Do you identify as a foundational Black American?
I, you know, I, I don't, I don't get into all that stuff, brother. To be totally honest with you, I'm just a black man that was born in America.
No, I'm just saying. Like
For
I'm
the
just
most
saying. Like
part,
I'm just
we
saying your
don't
parent.
know.
I'm saying your parents.
Some of us can be lucky enough,
I'm just saying like your parents. Are they
but the
descendants of
majority
some
of us don't
enslaved?
even know where we come from. We I don't want to hear none of this DNA stuff. We don't
My
know where we
internet
come
just
from. The only thing we can say that the only thing we have area of coming from is from the Gambia, Senegal region. That's where most of the
Hey,
slaves came from that
Peso,
came
can
from
you
the
hear me?
Where the
United States
records
came
at,
from
bro?
that area.
Where the
From the
Peso,
records?
can you,
Gambia and Senegal.
Where the
Peso, can you hear me?
where the records in the ships at, homie?
Hold on, hold on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Peso, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
No, I just want
You were borging
one
at
simple
first.
question. Your parents, are they descendants of enslaved Africans in the
Say that again.
your parents, mother or father, are they descendants of enslaved people in the United States?
Well, that becomes a little bit complicated, brother, because I have roots in South America, in Brazil, in
oh now it
particular.
makes
But
sense.
once again,
Now it makes sense.
And not to cut you
well,
off,
no,
brother,
it
but
don't. It don't.
it sound like you
None of that.
American.
None of that
It
don't.
sound like you
None of that
American
don't
black
make.
to me.
None of that don't make sense.
Heartthrob,
None of
heartthrob,
that
let
don't
him
make
finish.
sense.
Heartthrob, let him
First
finish.
of all,
You
Heartthrob, let him
yep,
finish. Let him
thank you.
finish. Hold on, you guys. Let him
Thank
finish.
you.
Let him finish defining who he
Thank
is,
you.
please.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Because first of all, I was born in America. My mother was born in America. My mother was born in America. But I have relatives. My mother's brothers are half Argentinian. So I mean, so people, you don't know a lot of people's histories because you got people that were shipped to from Africa to the Caribbean. They stayed for a while. Some type of way they eventually drifted over to America. They had family there. Then they had generations of people there. So I mean, most of us, unfortunately, we don't. We probably can't go back no more than 100, 200 years, most of us, because we didn't have any records. We don't know where we come from.
Well,
And
I got
just like
records.
just like you guys travel from country to country, y'all are so-called passport bros. The passport bro movement, or whatever you want to call this move, people, when men go from country to country, they have sex with women. They get people pregnant.
Mhm.
They move on. You know, So so all this foundational stuff, and it's nothing but Bloods and Crips at the end of the day.
Now,
All this
hold
Bloods
on,
and
hold
Crips.
on.
Oh,
You gotta give us time to have a rebuttal, bro. You gotta give us time to have a
well,
rebuttal.
I didn't even finish explaining anything, but if y'all want to rebuttal, I mean, y'all can. But all I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. I
Land
don't.
your plane. I
Yeah,
wanna
yeah,
respond to some
okay.
things you said.
I'm gonna land my plane. All I'm saying is that of course I'm an American. I was born here. I'm an American. I served in the military, XYZ, blah blah blah. But my point is that when you start trying to, define people, you start trying to, segregate people, or you a blood, you a crip, you this, you that. Okay, at the end of the day, what is that? How does that, in my opinion, what does that do for the community as a whole? What does that do for what do you as a foundational black person? Okay, you're a foundational black person. How does that benefit the people around you? How does it how do you give value to other people? The only people that's making money off of this.
Man,
Peso.
see, the
I
thing
got
is, man, it just
peso.
goes on, so you
Now,
can't really hit
I
on
just
all
want
the
to say, I
points.
just want
You can't hit on the
I just
points because
want to say I
you
just
like
want
to
to
do
say
No,
filibusters, bro.
one thing.
You
The
can't really
only
hit all the
person,
points. It's pointless.
the only the only
all
person
right.
that's making money off this foundational stuff is Tariq.
All right, let us have a rebuttal, bro. Let me pass the baton. You know what I mean? But let me say some things, and then I know HB came back and NYC King is in the back, and I know Heartthrob wanted to say something too. So a couple points I want to point out is that when it comes to FBA discussions, that's I'm talking to FBA people and people that want to support us and people that want to learn more about what we're talking about as a community. You know what I mean? So if I'm having a conversation about heterosexual relationships, I don't need somebody that's not heterosexual coming in and saying, well, you shouldn't be talking about this or that. Stay your non-heterosexual ass out of our conversation. So if you don't identify with FBA, if you don't care about reparations, no harm, no foul. It doesn't affect you one way or the other. The second thing is that when FBA decide to say, okay, we have our flag, we're the FBA tribe, people have something to say. Did nobody say anything when Jamaicans came over here with their flags? In African countries, they represent their flags, or all these other countries identifying who their tribe is. Because when I lived in New York, approached females, the first thing they asked me was like, "Oh, hey, how are you? Oh, so where are you from?" That was how you feel confused. I felt confused too. I'm like, "Where am I from?" Oh, I'm from the U.S. I'm from Wisconsin. You know what I mean? What you mean? No. Where are your parents from? I'm like, okay, they're from America, the South. So I felt just as dumbfounded as you feel about us identifying ourselves as foundational Black Americans. So it works on both sides. They've been doing it forever, and nobody is checking them on that. But as soon as foundational Black Americans say, you know what, we are going to identify us as a group of people, as a tribe, and we're going to have our own flag and our own name and our own parades and our own day. Now it's a problem. And the last point before I pass it is that I believe we are going to get reparations, just like white people were pivotal during the Civil War. White people were pivotal during the Underground Railroad. There were white abolitionists. White people have always been present in some aspect of liberation of Black people. So there are white people that are behind reparations as well. They may not be the loudest voice, but there are white people that very support reparations. And I played a clip earlier, and let me play that clip real quick, and then I'm gonna get NYC King to respond, And let me play this clip real quick.
So a lot of folks have heard this phrase, right? 40 acres and a mule. As you say, a lot of people thought, okay, this just never happened. And your reporting is called 40 Acres and a Lie. What's the truth behind this program? What do people not know?
What people don't know is that it wasn't just a promise that was broken. People were received land titles. We found more than 1,250 people who got land titles, men and women. They picked out their plots of land, mostly on the plantations where they were enslaved. Actually, not everyone got 40 acres, which is another misconception. It was up to 40 acres. And then people were living there. They were planting their crops. They were selling them in Savannah. Some of them formed governments. They elected a sheriff. They were living their lives, and they lived there for like up to a year and a half before they were kicked off.
How did they get kicked off the land that the government gave them?
Basically, because Lincoln was assassinated. I mean, they had promised this land. They gave land titles. The government said, this is yours. You deserve it. You're going to keep it. But Congress needed to make those titles permanent. They had a majority in Congress who were willing to do it. But Andrew Johnson, he was the vice president. He was a white supremacist. He sided with the planters who wanted their land back, and he vetoed every effort to make those land titles permanent.
You did a little more research to talk about the value of the land. This is an important part of your reporting here. 1 4-acre lot that you identified in Jacksonville, Florida, based on a sale last year, that it would, today, 40 acres would be worth $2.5 million there. It's not just the land that was lost here in your reporting. Tell me about what else you found.
Yeah, well, just that generational wealth that wasn't passed on. You know, this 40 acres land was all the coast. It's like expensive coastal real estate. We found gated communities, golf courses, and restaurants, incredibly valuable lands. This is wealth that was not passed on, and that's kind of what we're trying to show is the impact. This is not a history lesson only. It's the impact on people who are alive today.
All right, so you know
what?
white people.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Let me get NYC in real quick. NYC King, I know you've been waiting, brother. Let me unmute you real quick.
No, it's all good. I was in the kitchen. I had to cook me up something to eat. How are my brothers doing today out there?
Man, all
We good, bro.
That's what's up. That's
Hey,
what's
Rob,
up.
can y'all hear me still?
Peso Man took off on me.
We hear you, Heartthrob. No, he's here. Go ahead.
All right. No, I'm just chilling. I didn't even get into the topic. I was just in the kitchen doing my thing, man. You know how we start cooking. All right, I'm just gonna sit in the cuffs a little bit.
Okay. Did you have anything you want to say or add or not?
I had whatever I had to say. I had forgotten it because I ran in the kitchen. I had to cook up something.
All
right. So Heartthrob, you're next. So I know you had some things you wanted to say in response to what Peso was saying. So why don't you go ahead and go?
Okay, yeah. So, first off, apologies to Rob and the co-host and all. I never expect myself to get heated and like these. I always watch it like, man, why gosh, quit over talking to everybody. So no disrespect to the show. I apologize. But now Rob pretty much covered it all when he because he hit the points where Peso had mentioned FBA being kind of Crip and blood. But Rob, being as sharp as he is, he came with the rebuttal. Like nobody had nothing to say. When other ethnic groups come with their flags, when they come with their cultural pride, when they come with their own ethnic pride, it's only when FBA or American blacks delineate and say, yo, this is who we are. And Peso, like real talk, we never came at the people with the Crip and the blood thing. We thought we was all one big nigga. Pardon my language. We thought we was all one big family, bro. So nah, my folks ain't never been in Africa. They all from the Americas, North America specifically, yo.
Yes, sir.
American black. They ain't never been to Africa. As far as we know, scientifically with Darwinism and all of that, everybody come from Africa, supposedly. But what we know, we ain't seen no ships. We ain't got none of that documentation. And they the most record-keepingest people in the universe when it come down to their cargo and their goods. So I ain't trying to hear none of that. I want to see a ship in the chains. Ain't none of it here. So yeah, we delineating. This ain't got nothing to do with no disrespect to nobody else. You know what I'm saying? This is on us.
All right, Heartthrob. Go ahead.
You can identify with whomever you want to identify with That's you. I'm not gonna fight you on whatever you want to call yourself. If you want to call yourself a Martian, you can. I'm very liberal. But I will say this. I try to speak in facts, because there's no use to you know having pipe dreams. It's nothing wrong with to imagine and dream and all that other stuff, but most of the time that's better when you're watching Marvel, you go into the movies and stuff like that. You want to get away from all the realism, and you want to sit back and have some popcorn and enjoy the fantasy. But let's just be honest, okay? Let's straight be honest. Now he just played a clip that showed you back when Lincoln decided that he was gonna after the Civil War, he was gonna so-called give the black man an opportunity to get a leg up. Now back then there probably wasn't probably no more than what 3, 4, 5 million black people, if that, in the nation, and they couldn't even they didn't even want to give those people. Now those people were truly blacks, very few mulattoes, just still African, still had the nappy hair, and they didn't want to give them any money, and they could have easily gave them money. They could have printed money and just flat out gave it to them. Now you got over 40, 50, 60 million people now. Well, I'm gonna say 40 million, 40, 50 million black people that could identify as black. Now, how are you gonna be able to give them money? How are you gonna have who are you gonna determine who's black, who's been born here with all the mixing and smashing and everybody else? I mean, how are you gonna determine who's who?
We got.
They
I mean, with
man,
this record, people have to prove
we
that
not
people have to
ever
prove their
discover.
lineage.
It's, you they're not gonna give any black person any reparations, man. So let's just stop. That's a
That's
pipe
an
dream.
opinion. That's an opinion.
That's a pipe dream all day long. What black people need to be trying to figure out is how they gonna build inventions, how they gonna build corporations, and because
So let me ask you
that's
this:
what
Do we
that's what helps inventions.
is reparations deserved or owed in your whether we get it or not? That's one conversation. Is it deserved? Is it is it
It's not.
owed?
Let me tell you something. It's not deserved by you or I. It's not
Yeah, well,
deserved by you or I. It's
let
deserved
me
by the
get this.
people. It's deserved by the people that were stolen. It was deserved by the people who were brought over here in chains and bondage, who worked for X amount of years for
Hey,
free.
yo, well, they
It's
not here
deserved by
now,
it-
bro.
it's deserved by those people.
What
It's not
about their
deserved by
descendants?
me or you. It's
The,
not deserved by me or you.
the we are the well. I'm a descendant of those people,
Yeah, they
and
not here now. So since they not here, everybody else, the Native American, no disrespect to these ethnic groups that I'm going to mention, but the Native American, the Jews, the Jewish people, the certain groups of ethnic Asians, everybody got a form of a reparation. But when it come down to us, it's not deserved by you or I. Man, you sound
Well,
no
well,
disrespect, so
well,
that sound crazy,
well,
bro.
let me say this. Let me say this. If if they don't, I didn't. First of all, I can care less if they give us money or not. I'm seeing what they're not going to do. But my point is this: is that if everybody else, if everybody else got money and we didn't get money and they won't give us money, what does that say? Well, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? That
No,
tells
I
you that tells you that first of all they don't give a damn about us. And why are you worried and crying to somebody that don't give a damn about you? That's like you in that, because y'all talk about dating a lot of times, dating and mating a lot of times. That's like you running after of a woman that don't want you. Why would you run why would you be begging and wanting to get with a woman that don't want you?
No, I get
Hey,
what
so
you
I
mean.
get your point. Hold on. Let me say something real quick. Peso, I get your point when you bring up the fact of a woman chasing you, but at the same time, that woman's not owed you anything. The United States promised our ancestors, as you admittedly said so, 40 acres and a mule. And because of the actual clip that you heard the woman say that they, after they assassinated Lincoln, reneged on that promise. You know, so at the end of the day, the delineation that FBA is trying to say is, just like you said, there's no way to track all the people that are descendants of those 300,000 per se or a million slaves that were in existence at that point. But yet and still, like a bank, there is interest that's owed to those descendants of those people. So FBA in itself is a way to identify who are the descendants of those people. The logistics, hold on, let me finish. The logistics behind actually issuing out how that money is going to be dispensed is a whole nother topic. And you're absolutely right. I agree with you. It's going to be so stressed out about trying to pick and choose how that money gets distributed between all the actual descendants of those original 300 to a million slaves or whatever that were existent that could be proven at that point. So I get your point too, you know, and having to hold your breath to wait for a country that is not ingenuous about wanting to give it in the first place makes no sense. So yes, I understand. We should be encouraging ourselves to go out and start our own businesses like we used to have. We should be going out there and only get our wealth up and different things like that without the inclusion of a reparation. I understand that as well.
I got somebody backstage, Peso. They said they want to come in and talk to you. Their name is, they said Zed, the female Peso. I don't know who that is.
Oh God, if that's Zed, that's Zed. If that's Zed, man, you about to go into some fucking deep ass bullshit. But go ahead.
No, I just want to make sure, like, should I bring this person up or no? Because I don't know.
If it's ZED, that's Zed, and Zed is an Ethiopian woman. So
bring
you can bring her.
Bring the person up for a second.
All right.
Man, Peso, I wanted you to respond to Ronin.
Hold on real quick. Zed, you on stage?
I know.
Oh, okay.
I wanted.
Yeah, that's her. That's her.
What's your question? Because I like to stay on topic. So
Okay.
you know, if you want to.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Whose group am I?
Do you have
Go
anything? Go, say what you got to say. Okay, she left. All right. She left.
Go ahead, Peso. It's on you, man. You have the mic.
All right. You know, personally, I don't care if they give us reparations or not. But what I'm saying is that we need to stop grabbing at these pipe dreams and fantasizing and all this other stuff, because at the end of the day, the only person that's making money off of this stuff is the people that's having y'all dangling this magical carrot in front of y'all.
We wasn't supposed to get the civil rights. We wasn't supposed to get the civil rights bill. It was only because of Martin Luther King's death and
the civil rights bill. The civil rights bill helped not. It just not didn't help you as a black man. It helps the Mexicans. It helped everybody.
And that's the problem.
When that bill came out, it was because of our plight. The spirit of the Civil Rights Act was because of the plight of black Americans.
Fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, when the government gives out, the government is not gonna give you a leg up on anything. You should how many times are they gonna have to? It's like the Charlie Brown. It's like when the girl that holds the little ball up for Charlie Brown, and Charlie Brown runs and tries to kick it and they move it out the way. How many times are these white people gonna have to move the ball out the way for you to realize that you can't kick the ball? Once again, like I said once before, you know what? The scary thing, I advise people. This is what I advise every FBA. Since you want to talk about FBA, since you want to designate yourself as an FBA, I personally, if I had the money, if I had the resources and money, I would do it. I advise everybody, and when I say do it, I would finance it. I advise every FBA to go to an African country and live there for at least a year, so that you can find out that you have no friends, that these white people on a different level than you would ever think you would be on,
In
and
respects to
that these
Africa,
same black people, huh?
in respects to Africa.
Yeah, yeah. You go to any African country. You can go to Zimbabwe. You can go to Uganda, Tanzania, Nigeria, Gambia, Senegal, Cameroon, Malawi. You can go anywhere. Mozambique. You can go wherever you want to go. Go there and stay there live there for a year. Live there for a year, and see how these people live. See how their governments are ran. See how the people in the country behave, and you'll realize first of all, you'll realize probably why white people treat us the way they treat us. That would
Well,
be
we
Well,
all
number
there,
know
one.
that
Like,
those
white people
countries are
don't.
morally inept, though they're corrupted in their policies and their politics, and they're still being raped by the white man to this day. They haven't even regained control of their own countries.
and they're not the chosen
So why
people.
would we do that?
We're the chosen people. They're not the chosen
because
people. We're the
because
chosen
you
people.
because you live because the reason why you would do that is because every black person, every FBA, so to speak, we're gonna say FBA. Yeah, y'all need a dose, and I'm gonna say y'all because I've done it. A lot of y'all need a dose of reality. Y'all need a dose of reality to see that this white man is on a different level.
Can I
It's on
say
a different
something?
level.
We don't need a
And
demonstration by going to Africa to see that. We can see that worldwide. We
now,
can see the
I
white
didn't.
man is
I
on a
didn't.
whole nother
Well,
level.
first of all, you might hold on. You might not need to go. You might not need to go. You only can speak for yourself. You might not need to go, but a lot of people need to
That's
go.
true. I'll
In
give you
other
that.
words, it's kind of like the Scare Straight. You remember that program that they use for
Yeah.
teens, for troubled teens. They put them in jail and get them a taste of how jail is, so they won't go, so they'll be too scared to go. And
Yeah, I
what I'm
agree with you.
saying is that we need to understand. We need to understand where we really are, and mindset.
I think we are
I say
conscious.
mind.
I think I think we
I
I
say
think we are
mindset.
I think we are
I say
conscious
mindset.
as a people.
No,
I
no,
think
we not. No, we not. No, we not. Because you know why? Because you know what? If we were, first of all, we wouldn't be right now sitting on a white man's platform talking about reparations, because we don't have a YouTube,
what they got to do with
we don't
being
have a
conscious. What
Microsoft,
what they got
we
to
don't
do with
we don't we
what
don't
they got to do with being aware of what's going on in the world? What they got to do with awareness?
because if you're aware of what's going on in the world, you would put yourself in a position where you won't have to worry about asking for reparations from the white man.
But,
So
but you
why
sound like
why are
a
we
but you sound
why
like a
are we
tether
asking
though.
why are
You
we
sound like a
begging for
tether though.
something that we can get for ourselves?
Can
You
I say
bit.
something, Rob?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just being honest.
Go
And
ahead. Go ahead. Arthur.
Yeah, man. Peso, man, he's right about what he's saying, but there's a disconnect, and the disconnect is in this way, brother. Our ancestors here on this continent, the ones who went through the civil rights movement, before they was able to do that, we wasn't allowed to read or write. That was a concerted effort to keep us from being able to talk about the wrong that was done to us, let alone learn to read and write, and then get into the law of deciphering the law and figuring out, hey, yo, they're not supposed to be doing this to us. So long
hold on for
story,
one second.
yo,
Hold on for one second.
respectfully, let me finish, man. So our people They figured all of that out, went through the civil rights. This is them going to DC and their states legislation and all of this and that. Now, they gave us the civil rights, or so we thought, but it went under the title of African Americans. Before that, we wasn't called no African Americans. We was called blacks, Negroes, colored. African American is a new term. So for you to say that we kind of, somewhat crazy for delineating ourselves as FBA, I personally prefer American black, but it's all FBA. There's no difference.
You can name yourself whatever you want to name it. I never disputed that.
I get it, bro. But I'm in the middle of finishing up my thing. Like I don't interrupt.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
I got you. All right. So with that, it took us a long time to unravel once again what happened with civil rights. See, our people that went through the civil rights, they unraveled it for us. The powers that be said, okay, we got to give these people something or they really going to untangle this whole deal. They gave it to them, put us to sleep. And thank God we got younger people now that's unraveling this shit all over again, homie. Because it's been tied up with so many ethnic groups that we don't know if we coming or going. It ain't nothing wrong with us delineating who we is, because that's what we are. If we ain't different, you wouldn't have every ethnic group on the planet talking about how different from us they are. We didn't start this, y'all.
Like I said once before, you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. You can call yourself a Martian, whatever. Let me say this,
let me see you on a quick interjection. Like, this is the last time I'm gonna accept the snide remark, because I've been respectful to you. You shot it out there the first time. Next time I'm gonna get at you.
Hard top. You don't have to make it personal. It's not a personal situation.
All right, I got you.
He can define it either way he wants. He can call. It's funny. He can say Martian. He can say whatever.
All right,
don't take it personally.
It's
an expletive. It's an expletive. He's just making an example and saying it. It's no big deal.
No big deal.
Let him run with it. Let him run. Don't take it personally, man. It's a conversation.
You can call yourself. You can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, brother. I don't have a problem with that. You can call yourself whatever. Like I said, you can call yourself a Hebrew, Israelite. You can call yourself a Martian. You can call yourself whatever. I don't care. But my point is, you said that it's funny that we talk about how we so-called fight. We fought for this. We fought for that. Blah blah blah. We fought to learn how to read. You know what? Let's just be 100%. Let's keep it 100%. We really didn't fight for those things. We wanted those things. We didn't hold on. We didn't well, some people died for it. I will say that. But my point is that it was given to us. We have, but believe it or not, we have never ever really truly fought for anything.
That's not true.
We have
So
black people have black people have never went to war.
Listen, Peso, just refine your point. I just want you to define how you felt like we were given it and we did not earn it or fight for it. I just want you to define that part.
I'll be more than happy to define it. First of all, power is never given. Power is never given, unfortunately. That's like, for example, no excuse. Now, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you, but I'm saying this because I know you have a wife. I don't know if those other guys have a wife or anything, but you have a wife. So I know that you're married. So let me ask you this question, no excuse. Would you give me your wife right now if I asked you for her?
No.
No, I know that you. So you wouldn't give me your wife. So probably the only what would be the only way that I would be able to take your wife from you?
You would have to have some type of power where you were able to take it.
I would have to. Well, there's several ways I could actually do it. I could sweet talk her into leaving you. That would be the less violent way. Sweet talk her into coming with me. However, if I did sweet talk her into coming with me, you would probably get mad, and it probably would provoke violence that way. Or I could take your wife from you, which in turn I would have to harm you. In other words, what I'm saying is that now that's your wife. Now power is even more important than a man's wife, technically. So people are not going to give up power. You have to take it.
We understand. I
People
understand that concept.
People and what I'm saying and what I'm saying is that all these things that we said that we got from, we took from the white man, or we fought for this or that, or we haven't went to war. Black people have never went to war with white people. Matter of fact, I don't know
Man, I can't let this
the only people that have went to war, the only people that have actually black people that have went to war with white people are probably a lot of these African tribes, and they lost. They lost.
First of all,
they lost their land, they lost their rights, they lost everything. So all I'm trying to say is that we keep hollering about we fought for this, we fought for that. People died. Yeah, people died in protest. Hell, 24 people got killed in the Kenyan protest a couple of last week. So people die all the time in doing a protest or something like that. But as far as black people, we have never ever fought this white man. We have never went to war.
Let me respond. Let me respond to that. Now, on face, you make valid points, but there are different levels of this. This applies to females too. There are different levels of force. There's physical force. There's force through coercions. There's economic pressures. Put it like this, right? I'm gonna use a broad example and apply it to here. The United States doesn't go to war with every country in the world, right, to get what they want them to do, but they apply sanctions. Sanctions is the number one non-military tool the United States use to get what they want from other countries, right? Sanctions, right?
Correct.
Correct.
But
right. No. Let me get my point across. So
he's getting there.
So economic pressure from the most powerful country in the world is a tool that is used to get what they want. What Rosa Parks started in the boycott of the Montgomery, Alabama, or
just boycott of the buses. You can just say that. We get it.
The boycott. It applied. I'm gonna. That pressure. That was economic pressure. That was basically like the black community sanctioned the United States. So we are the largest, us being the largest consumer in the United States. That example of boycotting showed us that we can apply sanctions on the white man system, and it worked effectively. It worked effectively. So we did use our power to gain power in that instance. Now you can make we fought in a civil war. No blacks wasn't the majority in the army, but we fought. We were pivotal, just like we're pivotal in these swing state elections, right? Pennsylvania, when it comes to elections, you need that black vote in those swing states. The Union in a civil war, they needed the black people to participate in that war to at least have the edge. So we fought white people in the Civil War as well. Haitians, even though we're talking about FBA, Haitians fought white people, and was victorious.
Let me say this. Those are all. It's funny. Those are all illusions. Number one, let's focus.
Illusion. That's history.
Hold on. Let me say, when I say illusion, let me focus on it. First of all, during the Civil War. During the Civil War, I don't think. See, like I said once before, I'm gonna say this again. I recommend black people, FBAs, if you want to consider yourself FBA, whatever you want to call yourself, FBA, NBA, WB, BC, whatever. I recommend you go to these African countries so that you can see how far ahead white people are than we are, as in melanated. Now
You
we
speaking
all
to me?
melanated.
I've been to Africa though, so you're speaking to
No,
me. So
hold on for a second. No excuse. Melanated black people. Now you want to talk about the Civil War? The Civil War. Do you know the reason why they were fighting the Civil War?
it was a lot. It was a lot of reasons that prompted the Civil War.
Let's hear his definition of why we were fighting the Civil War, because he has his own opinion. So let's hear it.
The main reason, first of all, the Civil War was the biggest, was a precursor to the biggest layoff in American history. It was a precursor
How do you come up with that
to the
interpretation?
biggest layoff. Black people, they were fighting for. They were fighting. Let me tell you why I come up with that interpretation. Because the main reason why they were fighting
Super chat real quick.
the Civil War
the super chat from IBN
because of the Industrial Revolution, because that was the first stage. That was the first stage in automation. Now, it wasn't automation as we see it today, but it was the first stage of these white people thinking light years ahead. Everything, let me tell you something, everything these white people do
Hey, you bargain
the internet gods do not like what he's saying, 'cause he's breaking up.
From the Suez Canal to all these canals, these shipping lanes. It's all about moving merchandise, mercantile capitalism. So for all those black people you said that were fighting for the South, or for the North rather, fighting for the North, they were fighting for their unemployment, because at the end of the day, they fought with the North, and then what happened, folks? They didn't get their 40 acres and a mule, which now y'all are crying about reparation. Goes back to the reparation component.
All right, but
They end up Jim Crow laws. After Jim Crow laws came about, so they were still back on the hamster wheel, on the economic hamster wheel.
Hold up. The only reason Jim Crow laws came into effect is because of the assassination of Lincoln and the non-fulfillment of the 40 acres and a mule. Don't twist it up. There's a cause and effect. There's a cause and effect to everything. So you can't ignore the cause and effect of those things.
No. So okay. Cause and effect. So everything was based on Abraham Lincoln. So eventually Abraham Lincoln was gonna die. If he wasn't assassinated, he was gonna drop dead of a heart attack or something like that. Everything can't be based around one goddamn white man.
But Peso, as a person in the military, as a person in the military, it takes a while to reprocess a whole economy and a whole mental structure of a government once it's taken down. So if Lincoln's immediately assassinated, the cause and effect of that is the rules and obligations that were supposed to take effect never actually seeded in order to actually grow. So then that's why it was so easily disregarded, and it went back to Jim Crow type of laws. You cannot sit here as a military person and know that once a conquered people is conquered, if you cannot hold them to it, they will revert back to the way they were.
See, Peso, he's right about what he's saying, but
he's leaving out very small details. There's minute details that he's leaving out. There's a minutia to these things, and if you ignore those minutia and those details, you can believe him and actually believe absolutely everything he's saying is factual. But there's
Right.
little details, if you leave them out, like I said, cause and effect. It
It'll
takes a
change the
while
narrative.
to change the
Right.
government of a conquered people. And if you are not holding them to it, just like Galveston and Juneteenth, you know, even though we had won the war in the Civil War, it still took a while before the
Right.
people in Galveston even got that knowledge. So that's why I say, if you cannot hold a government, especially a conquered government that's fighting against whatever they feel is right, to the fire for a long period of time, it will never cede.
But
So
that's
that's why Jim Crow laws and everything else, there is a cause and effect that you're ignoring, even though you're absolutely correct in history. You're still ignoring those finite details that
But he,
are the
but
reason why those things happen.
he's speaking from a conquer mindset. Like
No,
FBA has a
I'm not.
certain energy.
I'm not speaking from a conquer mindset.
You are. You have a
I
defeat.
want
You
to
got. You
No,
got a defeated
he's speaking
mindset.
facts. Listen, he's speaking facts. I'm
No,
not going
he's
to lie
speaking
about what he's saying. But like I
no,
said, those
no, but
finite
the,
details
no,
is how
no,
he's
no, no,
able
no,
to.
no, no, no. But the notion that we are a powerless people, that is fundamentally false. We are a powerful people at a minority. You know what I mean? Right? Represent
if you're
12,
so
13%.
powerful, no excuse why you can't make them white people give you your money.
They
See,
gonna give us our money. They gonna give us our money. Yeah,
No,
Yo.
they are going to give us our money.
Hey,
They are
Peso,
gonna give us our money.
listen,
It's the-
listen.
Man, he's
Give us
good.
our money.
Don't bite into a heartbeat. He's goating you. Don't do it. Don't do it,
Let me
brother.
get
Just
at him, man.
let him say what he's saying, man.
Let me
He's
get
gonna
at
goat you
Peso.
into some
They're,
shit.
they're, they're,
Let
they're
me get at
going to
Peso.
give it
Peso,
to
let me say something, man. Look,
what do you
look,
never give you your money back?
look, you definitely right that we cannot historically trust that these people are going to give us anything. You right about that. But the thing is, we don't care if they're going to give it or not. That's the point. See, this is what you're not understanding. We don't care if they're going to give it or not. The thing is
Okay.
that they're not
I have a
they're not going to stop us from bringing up the remembrance of our ancestors, past and present. Because somebody today gets killed by one of them from what they're doing to us. They're an ancestor of ours, past and present. We're not letting that go.
Let me read this comment by International Zoe. Shout out to International Zoe, man. He said, if we don't fight to get reparations, we will never get it hands down. Closed mouths don't get fed. Better to fight and not get it than to be self-defeated. And he's right, man. We have fought for everything that we had to that we have obtained. We have gotten things that we fought for. We fought for George Floyd, and we got a vice president, even though she doesn't represent FBA. But our efforts turn into something material, and we have proven that through our history. And that's why I'm saying we will get reparations. I didn't get to shout out your super chat, bro. Appreciate the $5 super chat from IBM, the Global Spinner. He said, "Good Sunday topic," and salute to everyone. Appreciate that, bro. Now, I want to kind of bring things back into the original context of the stream, and I know that, I know Peso came in at a certain point of the stream, but the topic was white America protect the chosen people, and so the points that he made about power power is never given; it has to be taken. That is true. What I'm saying in this stream is particularly about how white America has treated a group of people that they deem to be chosen. You know what I mean? Particularly the Jewish community, and and the reason why white America does it is because of their personal they personally want salvation through God, and in their eyes, in the eyes of the white supremacists, is they chose a how should I say this? Scripture identifies Jews as being a chosen people. Not saying the chosen people, but a chosen people. And white America has chosen to protect them as their salvation. What I'm saying in this stream is that if white people are going off that notion that for them to get salvation, they have to protect and do right by certain people. I'm saying biblically, foundational Black Americans are chosen people, and they should apply those same beliefs and principles as it pertains to us.
How are we chosen?
I went over that. I went over that,
Disconnect.
respectfully, I went over that in the beginning, so it was like a monologue. You know, it was like a monologue when it comes to
Well,
that.
let me say this. One thing that I've noticed about us as Black people, and this is just how we are, and like I said, goes back to the African mindset. You know, we always have our hands out. We always begging for this white man
We're not
to
begging.
do something for us.
We're demanding.
Well, okay, that's aggressive begging. Demanding is aggressive begging. But
No, it's not.
you're begging. You're begging. Let me tell you something.
Begging is asking for someone to give you something.
Demanding is the best demanding is aggressive begging. Because let me
So
tell you something. A person
First of
that's in a
all, when you
position of
beg, you're
power,
begging for
they
something
don't
you're
beg.
not entitled. Wait.
Like, for
When you beg,
example,
let's use words properly. Let's use words properly. When you beg, you're asking for something that's not entitled to you. When you're asking for something that's entitled to you is not begging. You can't use that in contradiction with each other. When you use the word begging, listen, when you use the word begging, that's something that you're not entitled to. When you're asking for something that you were entitled to, that you're owed, that's not begging.
You're Borging. I can't hear you.
No, your internet is slow. It's slowing.
Or maybe
your
I'm
internet.
Borging shit.
So when the homesteader immigrants came over and got all that land and farming equipment from the government, and a lot of them asked for that too, was that begging?
I don't know if they asked them or not, but listen to what I'm saying. No, listen to what I'm saying. Because I don't think you guys understand what I'm saying. When the white man came over to Africa, for example, what was at the Berlin Conference? The Berlin Conference, wasn't that the Berlin Conference when all those European countries decided they were going to meet together and they were going to carve up Africa? They didn't go over and beg the Africans for their land. They went over there and took it. They took their shit. They did now. If those white people would have been sitting over, if the white people would have came together in the Berlin Conference, and they would have got together and say, you know what, we're gonna go over to Africa and we're gonna ask these tribes, can we have some of their land? They would have been asking forever because them tribes wouldn't have gave them shit. So they had to go over there and take it. And my point is that
No,
in order for you to really be able to make demands or want stuff, you have to be in a position of power.
I gotta correct you.
If you're not in a position of power, all you're doing is begging.
Hold on, I gotta address something real quick.
And
when the colonizers came to Africa, they used different mechanisms to get enslaved people. It wasn't with guns, it was through coercion, it was through trickery. So, you know, we have to get out this notion that there's only one type of the only way something could be taken is through physical force. That is not the only way anything could be taken. It could be through coercion, it could be through deals, it could be through conscience. My point is that
the main point was through force. Everything else revolves around that. For example,
how do you know most enslaved people were taken by guns? How do you know they wasn't tricked to get on the boat? How do you know that?
Okay.
Hey, can we take a pause real quick? I just want to say one thing. One thing. Let me, and it has nothing to do with this topic. Zed, I'm speaking directly to Zed. If you're using this live, you better be giving no excuse his credit, because you jumped in this panel just so you can simulcast this live on your own channel.
She's disconnected.
No, she's actually in her live right now with your live. So that's why I'm telling her, if you're going to use it, you better give him credit for it. Other than that, continue.
It doesn't. Okay.
First of all, we can't I think that's being a little disingenuous saying, let's take a poll on who got tricked or whatever else. Let's just be honest, no excuse. Now,
No, because we don't know factually. We could just say it was different types of force.
the 10%, the 10 to 15% of people might have got tricked or might wanted to go to the new land. Yes, but the majority of those people were forced. Okay,
The majority of people
nobody,
were given Africans
nobody is
were
gonna.
given guns. No, African was given weapons in exchange for Africans. That was the majority. They did not come physically. The numbers were. It was so many wars in Nigeria against white people coming on to that land. But the majority of Africans were given due to exchange of weapons for slaves. That was the
Okay. Exchange for weapons for slaves. That's a trade, but that's a trade by force.
It's
That's a
a
trade by
deal.
force.
It's a deal. It's not physical
Hey,
force.
hold on, no excuse. Hold on, no excuse. Okay, say I'm a slave, okay, and say you're the tribe, and you're trading me to the white man, and the white man gonna give you a weapon. I didn't ask to go to the white man. How am I able to get to the white man? You captured me some kind of way, and you're selling me over to the white man by force.
But
Because that's all.
the white man came and enticed me with his weapons. He enticed me with everything he had.
And you went and captured me. You went and captured me by force.
You was a prisoner of war. But the white man didn't capture you. My tribe defeated your tribe, or my clan defeated your clan. Now you a prisoner of war.
Now I'm a prisoner of war because you decided that you wanted to once again you wanted to put war on me. You wanted to cause a fake war. So that's still by force.
That's been happening the whole planet, brother.
How is that not by force?
Yeah, but you said the white man. You said the Berlin Conference, and you said that they plotted a scheme to forcefully take slaves from Africa. What I'm saying is
that would be called indirect force. That would be called indirect force.
Okay, so now you're proving my argument more. Now you're proving my argument more. You don't need listen. You don't need direct force to get what you want. You just prove my point. Just like economic sanctions, you don't need direct force.
It's still force. Because hold on, no excuse. Hold on, no excuse. I could say I'm the white man. Okay, now I'm the white man now. Now I can easily there's two things I could do. I can go over there and get them myself, or I can hire you for which in turns I'm forcing you technically because eventually what happened is because eventually because the Berlin Conference was that was stage 2 or episode 2, meaning that the Berlin Conference was after all the Atlantic slave trade and all that other stuff. When they finished getting all the slaves that they wanted to build a new world, then they came back for phase 2. And all those dumbass Africans didn't even understand. All those Africans that were making trades and getting slaves and all that other stuff, sending them to the new world, they was getting rich and for alcohol for a couple of cases of Corona and malt liquor, small liquor bull. They came back with the Berlin Conference and took all their shit. So first of all, they got all the free labor they wanted. Then they came back. And they got all their they got all the land. And let me just say this. Well, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Let me just say this. Let me say how white people are on another level. And this is the funny thing is that I laugh now how we talk about the white man now because it's kind of comical to me now. But let me just say this.
Is this brother like Chaotic Truth? Is this one of them white Uncle Ruckus black dudes that's talking?
No,
like
Yeah.
Like,
Now,
what's
we speaking. Unfortunately, we speaking facts over here. I don't like white people. Well, I ain't gonna say I don't like white people. I ain't gonna say I don't like black people. Now, I'm keeping it 100. Let me just say this. This is how the game is. Now, let's talk about South Africa for a minute. Rich in platinum, diamonds, gold. I think South Africa probably had more gold, probably one of the largest gold producing countries on the planet at one time. Botswana, the country right next to them, I think they have the second largest diamond reserve in the world now. But South Africa's the same. Now this planet has been in existence. We don't know how many billions of years. We don't know how we gonna say that there's people been walking on the planet for at least 1,000 years. We're gonna say 1,000 years. People have been walking on this planet for 1,000 years.
get to the
People
point,
been
brother.
walking on. I will get to the point. Just shut the hell up for a minute. Now, people have been walking on this planet for 1,000 years. People have been walking in South Africa for thousands of years. Now, these white people come over. These white people arrive on in the Western Cape, realize that there's diamonds and gold and everything else, and they turn this into an entire industry. While these Africans were sitting on this shit for thousands of years and couldn't do shit with it.
But what they got
Didn't
to
even
do
know.
with foundational Black Americans?
My point is this. No excuse. These people, these white people don't respect you because they think you're dumb.
We understand the mentality of the oppressor. We understand the mentality of the oppressor.
My question to you, no excuses, is this: why do you expect somebody to give you something that don't even respect you?
Because we have a proven record of getting something from that. We have a proven record.
They haven't. These. Let me tell you something. These white people haven't really given you shit. They haven't given you shit.
And also the same way where it was the law for us to be slaves. We weren't supposed to say nothing about that neither. So
you have to understand. You have to not to cut you off, Heartthrob, but we are the wealthiest, most educated, privileged. I'm using quotations. Privileged group of Black people in the world.
Do you know why? Do you know why? See.
Don't say the white man gave it to us. Please
do
don't
you
say
know
that.
why you're the? That's right.
So
that's why.
What I'm saying
that's
is
why,
that
because
we are unique.
We didn't earn it ourselves. We didn't earn it ourselves. White people gave it to us.
Let me finish my statement though.
Hold on, no excuse. Haven't you been to South Africa? Hold on, no excuse. Have you been to South Africa?
Peso, he's the host. You've been talking for a while. Let him go. Let him go, Peso. You done ran for a while. Let him talk. Come on,
I just want to ask him a question.
Let him run for a second, and then you can ask your question. Go ahead. Let him run.
Three people talking. You dilute my argument when I don't get to finish my statement. You know what I mean? So it takes away the strength of my argument. You know what I mean?
You know it.
So we're arguably the greatest group of people, Black people on the planet, and we got that because of who we are in our nature. So the notion that why or how can we get something
just
from
said,
our
no excuse. Repeat that again. Repeat that again.
You throwing me off.
No, he's breaking up. You know that his transmission's breaking up. Just go ahead and repeat it.
No, so we are the greatest group of Black people on the planet, you know, due to our quote unquote privilege of being Americans. You raised a question about our oppressors don't give a damn about us, they're not gonna give you shit. But I'm saying we have a proven history of accomplishments and gains. We don't get to the point of being the greatest group of Blacks overnight. We were all on par during slavery. We were all on par in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. We were on par with as far as poverty, as far as worldwide class and poverty. We was on par with the Haitians, with the Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Colombians, even Africans. We were pretty much on the same we were, broke. We didn't have any wealth. Now, as Foundation of Black Americans, we have separated ourselves, and that takes time. The world even hasn't caught up yet. Africa in 2024 is still trying to figure out how to fucking build pave a road. They are so far behind. So we have made so much
put in
progress.
their water systems.
I think there's no excuse. First of all, if white people catch pneumonia, we get AIDS. If white people get a steak dinner, we get fried chicken. Meaning that we are connected to whatever progress white people have or get, we benefit from it. For example, Michael Jordan would not be Michael Jordan without Phil Knight. Michael Jordan wouldn't be Michael Jordan without the NBA. I said Phil Knight. That's his name, Phil Knight, the CEO. I said Phil Knight, the CEO of Nike. The CEO of Nike. He wouldn't. Michael Jordan wouldn't be a billionaire without those white men. If those white men never existed, if the NBA never existed, I'm not discrediting Michael Jordan's talent, basketball talent, anything like that. Not discrediting that. But if he wouldn't have a platform, these white people didn't have a platform for him to display his talent, he wouldn't be where he wouldn't be a billionaire.
All right, Rob.
But we've always needed each other.
Hold on.
You gotta let the cane course off the chain right now, man. Let me loose.
There was no white man that formed the NBA. No black man. I'm sorry. There's no black man that formed Nike. Which not saying that there's no black man smart enough to not create the NBA. Not saying that there's no black man not smart enough to have created Nike, but they didn't.
Hold up. No, wait. Just to clarify that, there were Negro leagues for basketball, football, everything. We had our own separate leagues. They brought us into their leagues because they knew that was going to be more profitable. Come on, man. Keep with the facts. Don't keep on graying it out.
Course off the chain.
Hold on. We know that there were. Hold on. We know that there were Negro baseball leagues. We know that Satchel Paige and all those other guys, Jackie Robinson, blah 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 blah. I know all that. However, those Negro leagues, they didn't stay the course. They didn't see division 20, 30, 40 years down the road.
It don't matter, bro.
Hold on for a second. And also, those same Negroes, they decided, and that goes back to what I wanted to say earlier. Those same Negroes decided to integrate. Let me tell you something. Segregation.
We're going on a different conversation.
We didn't even want to say.
We are way off topic right now.
We want to integrate.
Can I address what he just said?
Yeah. Peso. To be fair, Peso. Let Heartthrob go because he has not gone in a while, and we have been preoccupying the conversation. So please let him have a couple minutes. Go ahead, Heartthrob.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. So to what Peso was saying about us being given, whatever the white man gave us. Brother, have you forgotten about all of the patents that American blacks made and they were taken from them? Have you forgotten about all of the miraculous contributions that our people have done in this country and they were stolen? You talking about
didn't have intelligence? I never said that.
That's not. Hang on, brother.
Let me go ahead.
Go ahead, Rob.
No, you got. Are you?
No, you have the. You have the floor, brother.
No, I thought Rob was trying to say something.
No, go ahead.
So, Peso, I'm not saying that you're saying that we didn't have the intelligence or the ingenuity. I'm addressing the statement that you made where you said that the white man that American Blacks FBA wouldn't be nothing without the platforms that white people provided. I see what you're saying on that, but once again, there's that little bit of there's that disconnect that Rob and Ronin are talking about. Like you right, but you got to get a whole picture, brother. Like we know from our historical study and our historical record that we've created and contributed all kinds of stuff to this country and to the world. Like that's unfair and that's disingenuous of you to do that, bro.
Hold on, how am I disingenuous? Break that down to me.
Because you're saying that Black people wouldn't have nothing and wouldn't have done nothing if it wasn't for white people. That's disingenuous.
And it's the other way around. They wouldn't have anything without us.
You know, let me say this. We have first of all, when you are an alcoholic, you own drugs or something like this, you have to, in order to get off those drugs and get cleaned up, you have to admit that you own the drugs. So in other words, what I'm saying is that we have to be honest with ourselves first. That's the first thing that, for example, if you have a daughter, say you have a daughter, okay, and your daughter is the neighborhood hoe, okay? Now, guys are coming in and out your house, running in and out your house. Now, most guys, they're gonna be mad and wanting to fight the guys and wanting to try to run the guys away and all this other stuff. But yet your daughter is a hoe. So the first thing you have to address is you have to address the wholeness of you have to come to the realization that my daughter is a hoe. So that's how you address the issue.
Can you admit to you have a defeated mindset though?
No, I don't have a defeated mindset, brother. What I'm admitting is that we have an issue. We have to address. For example, if your football team sucks, you can't be telling your team, we just won by, we lost by 2 points. We're gonna do. No, you have to address that. Hey, our personnel, we need better personnel. We need better.
But
we need
nobody on this panel was doing what you just said, Peso.
Yeah, because you know why? Because you don't have the same mindset as I have, and you have that same. You still have that same Negro spiritual mindset.
I want to not to cut you off, Peso, but I want people. We're gonna close. The closing remarks gonna be around mindset. I'm gonna let me go first, and then Peso, you can follow me. You can go after me. Heartthrob, and then Ronin, and then then I'm gonna end the stream because I want it like 4. I don't want to go 4 hours tonight. So I'm just gonna go for 5 minutes. I'm gonna give everybody 5 minutes. I'm gonna give everybody 5 minutes to talk, but I'm gonna kind of bring it back in and pass the baton. So, all right. The mindset of a foundational Black American has always been that if we fight using the tools that we have, whether it's economically, whether it's protesting, whether it's religion, whether it's prayer, whether it's making the white man feel guilty, whatever tools that we've had, we have had to use those tools to get what we wanted. This is the difference between me as a foundational Black American and people that are not. When I walk in a room with white people of power, I look at myself as equal to them. In return, they give me respect. I don't walk with my head down. Peso mentioned that, if they get a steak dinner, we get fried chicken. No, if they get steak dinner, I want steak dinner too. I walked in, one of my supervisors and asked for a raise. And he was like, wow. He's like, no one has asked for a raise, working, in this short duration that you've been working. I'm like, well, I'm not like everybody else. So this is just me, but I'm a reflection of a lot of people in the foundational Black community. We hold our head up. We have a high level of confidence. That's why a lot of people from the outside, they look at it, they think we're arrogant. They think that we know it all, because we have the determination, we have the proof, we have the receipts of getting stuff done. You know what I mean? Whether it was my brothers that founded Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity in 1906, overcoming odds, whether it was the creation of historical Black colleges that we had to do to educate ourselves, whether it was Rosa Parks with the boycotts of the buses, that economic leverage, other boycotts as well. Rodney King, for example, Rodney King, George Floyd, things that came out of those situations. So we have leverage in this country at 12%. Imagine if we was 50% or 90%. You know what I mean? These African countries are a majority population, and they don't even have the power or influence that we have at 12%. So it is something magical about us. There's something spiritual about us. But at the end of the day, whether you want to believe if white people are going to acquiesce to our wants and demands, what I'm saying is that we have a historical proof. We have a historical receipts of us getting what we want. You know what I mean? Some people, and we do have allies in the white community as well. Historically, we have had enough white people that have been our allies to help us get to that point. So I'm gonna just land right there, and I'm gonna pass it to Peso, man, and then Arthur. So I got the timer on, man. You got 5 minutes.
Let me say this. Mexicans have came over here, and Mexicans are the majority minority now. They're the majority. They're the minority now. If I'm not mistaken, Hispanics are probably and I don't know the stats because I haven't looked at them of lately. But I'm willing to bet Hispanics are more than 13% of the population now, and they're jumping by leaps and bounds, and because they brought their culture over here. And let me say this: if we're so powerful, if we're these most we these powerful people, once again, why don't we have car manufacturers? Why don't we make weapons? Why are we some of the biggest corporations that employ large groups of African Americans, which we don't? Why do we allow the white man to let the Hispanics come over here and become the new majority minority? Well, what I mean, we keep talking about what we do. We don't do anything. We don't run anything in this country. We're guests in this country. We don't want to talk about it. Because we're guests. Once again, all the benefits that we get is due to white ingenuity. This internet that we own, white people, the planes that you fly to go to your foreign country to mess with your hawkers, white people own those airlines.
So you think
the money that you spend in bargain pressed by white people.
I'm a chemist. I have publications
Controlled by white people.
I'm a chemist.
so I'm trying to figure out.
I'm gonna let you finish, man, because I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
But like I was saying once before, these white people ain't gonna, hey, if they give black people reparations, good. That's fine. And I'm not gonna say nobody.
Are you going in and out?
What black foundational what is black foundational black people should be thinking about is building corporations, creating inventions. Also, what you should be doing too is taking your inventions and going over to these African countries and making billions of dollars. because these African countries are so undeveloped. They need all kind of inventions. They need all kind of inventions. And you're not gonna how white. Let me tell you something. How white people got so powerful. How every nation gets powerful is through inventions, through ingenuity, through intelligence, high IQs. That's how people get powerful.
You Morgan, man. You got 60 more seconds, man. See that white man internet ain't working in South Africa. we our stuff working over here because there's always black
That's
people
how
behind the scenes. He said we're banned from Africa. All right, Peso, man. I don't know what's going on with the connection, man, but in the words of Flavor Flav, man, your time is up. All right, Heartthrob, you could go next, brother.
Yeah. All right. Man, this is a good stream. Appreciate it. And thanks for having me up, man. But to address Peso with him talking about how FBAs or American blacks don't own anything and don't contribute and ain't creating nothing. That's false. Not gonna let him get out of here putting that out there so that the rest of these people in this chat and listening to this stream think that they got one up. It ain't gonna happen. It's a new day around here, man. It's a whole new day. These young boys out here, they done put in the work, witnessing it from when they was young, and they got everything together, and it's a whole new day. So when you can't say that we haven't contributed and that we don't own a lot of stuff, but there's a reason for that. There's reasons like when they tried to develop their own communities, y'all keep forgetting that those communities was bombed or flooded, or the inventors of these patents were murdered, past and present. See, we're going to talk truth. And I'm going to tell you what the truth is according to these scriptures, Psalms 83, and I'm going to get out of here on it. Psalm 83, keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, and they are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab and the Hagarenes, of Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur is also joined with them. They have Hopen, the children of Lot, Selah. Now, when you go into that scripture and you look up all them names that I just said, you're going to see that those people who are confederate against the FBA are those people that's listed that I just named off. Look up those names and you'll see that it ties to all of the nations that are confederate against us. Rob, you got a brilliant show. You up next, man. You got next.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming up, man. I'm gonna drop you down.
No doubt.
All right. Ronin, man. What you want to close with, man? I got a comment on Fearless's comments, but go ahead, Ronin. I can't hear you if you're talking.
Real quick before I start making my points, the exact thing that you want me to close on is what? On what premise? Because we've gone all over around Robin Hood's barn. I don't want to be on the wrong direction here.
It was the mindset of us versus the people that have a defeated mindset.
All right, mindset. All right, so we've sat here and heard several different versions of people's opinions on our history, and one thing I talk a lot about is there are a lot of historical revisionists nowadays that like to cater their opinions and thought processes to not necessarily 100% fact of what history is. Like we were talking about nuances in history. You know, he was trying to bring up Jim Crow laws, but there's a cause and effect in everything we do in society and in life in general. You know, so with that, your mindset as a Black American, even FBA, should be trying to get it on your own. But yet and still, that does not deny the fact that the government itself made promises that that we are still owed when it comes to reparations. Should that be your main your mindset or your main focus? Absolutely not. We can still proceed and be successful in so many other things. We do have Black-owned businesses. We have over 1,001 patents that are owned by Black people. So don't think as Black people we have been held to the fire by white people. We have always continued to progress and be successful in everything we've ever done or touched, to a point that worldwide we influence so many different things, from culture to music to a lot of different things, regardless of that. So to have somebody sit here and say that we don't contribute, we have not done anything, we have not fought, we are not a bright shining light to a lot of other countries, especially Africa, which we are trying to delineate ourselves from, but at the same time, they are over there trying to mimic us as a society. You know, so at the end of the day, it's a perception on mindset that's really being twisted here when a lot of these topics come up and get like whitewashed into making you think one way or another, like it's futile to think any one way. Closed mouths don't get fed. So at the end of the day, if you don't continue to hold people to the fire on promises that were made, they will never be paid out in the first place. It's like somebody owing you money. If you just shut up and don't ask for your money back, guess what? Do you think they're going to absolutely come and give you the money that's owed to you? No, they're going to conveniently forget unless they're honorable people. So what Peso said was, and he's right, white people are not honorable people. To the point of why we need to continue to bring up the fact that we are owed something, but are we letting that paralyze us in the progression of what we do as a people? Absolutely not. We're still doing positive things within our culture, within our industries that we excel in. So at the end of the day, you know, your mindset from this podcast should go in a positive light, that it's not futile to think progressively. It's not futile to want to gain knowledge, you know, expand into different arenas and continue to be successful in them, because we will be. You know, his idea of going to Africa and doing anything, absolutely not. Do not even buy into that cookie. You know, until Africa can fix its own, you know, corrupt governments and everything else, to waste money in that government and those systems would be futile. You would be wasting your money, and at the end of the day, they would wind up taking it anyway. You know, at the end of the day. So I wouldn't waste my time with that. Continue to progress as individual people, and we will find like-minded people that agree with our process. And obviously, you know, like-minded people will start to grow and make changes in whatever culture they wind up, you know, settling in. And that's one of the reasons brothers are traveling right now. They're trying to find that culture that you can find that like-minded person and actually contribute to whatever culture and whatever progression that they want to do within their lives and their life goals. So at the end of the day, you know, the positive mindset is, look, we're not defeated. We're not somebody that's begging. We're owed something. We have a right to ask for what we're owed. Begging is something that you're not obligated to get, and you're just asking for it like a contribution. This is not something that we're begging. This is something that we're holding to. And like a debt collector, you got to keep on calling people to try to get your payment. So at the end of the day, that's not begging. You know, so even to use words, and you have to worry about when people use certain types of words and misuse them.
Shaming tactics, like
not only that, but just misusing the real true definition and the meaning of words. They like to do that a lot. You know, so I'm very keen on when people use words, as the definition of that word is not being used right, I'm going to call it out immediately. You know, begging is not what we're doing. That's something that's owed to us like a debt. And that debt runs with interest. Understand that. We're owed interest. If you go to any bank and you're owed money, or you take out a loan, you're owed interest on that money. So, you know, at the end of the day, what we're asking for, even in reparations, even though that's not even the topic of this whole conversation, this started off with the chosen people in FBA, but You know, at the end of the day, watch who's talking to who, watch the uses of words, understand not only your own history, but your own capability as somebody coming from our culture. Okay, we're the number 2 sought after people of the world as far as successfulness, as far as desirability and everything else. And only white people beat us out only by what? Colonization and that foothold that they have. Other than that, we're the preferred race. We're stronger than them. So they're always fearful of that as well.
All right,
So
bro.
I'm gonna close. I'm gonna land my plane with that.
All right, bro, man. Appreciate you coming up,
Yep.
man. And I'll put you backstage, man. Oh man. It's a lot to unpack, man. I just want to address a couple comments that so Fearless Podcast, you know, he mentioned about we are 16%, whatever you know, it's more like 12, 13% and own less than 1% of the wealth. Here's the thing with that. The where foundational Black Americans are when it comes to the wealth gap, that is one of the reasons why reparations is being discussed now, because there has been that gap is because of us not being paid what we're owed, you know, from slavery, you know, and so we live in a capitalist society. It takes time to catch up. People have a head start. You know, white people have a head start globally. You know, unless you have your own country where you can slowly build, like let's say like a China, for example. And a lot of people argue that the Western nations allowed China to grow. You know, so that argument that's not a good argument when you talk about people that have generations of head start and trying to, and, you know, it's basically like it's the tether play, right? Oh, you have the same opportunities than white people. Why aren't you here? Why don't you have that? You have a head start, and then you have people that's in power that want to keep their lineage in power. So there's so many dynamics that systematically keep, you know, blacks at where they are. It doesn't have anything to do with effort and things like that. Even power. If we started at an even playing field financially, we would have just as much power and influence as the white minority in South Africa has over a black majority. And then I wanted to address this comment too about Rosa Parks. The protest from Rosa Parks was very effective. Was very effective. You know, I mean, you can Google, you can go on Google and look at the effect of the economy of the local economy based on a boycott. It was very effective. That's why it worked. So anyway, I wanted to address things about, you know, why our impact. So two things, right? We have an impact on the economy because we're the largest, black people are the largest spenders in America. So whether we run and own major corporations, we have power in our spending because certain entities wouldn't exist without the black dollar. You know, whether it's certain shoe companies, a lot of put it like this, you have these fee-based banking cards that come out, right? These prepaid banking cards, right? These companies only exist because of black people, because they can make a little interest on black people using these prepaid cards, for example. So there's an industry just based off of unbankable people. When it comes to certain food, fashion, when it comes to certain food and fashion, a lot of these things exist because that's what black people want to spend their money on. So the reason why a lot of white people have these businesses is because they capitalize on, you know, business one-on-one. When you want to sell something, you have to find a target market, you know, and black people have been a target market for a lot of things as it pertains to consumption, whether it's service or needs. We had the Black Wall Street, which that was demolished. So we have demonstrated that we know how to create an economy, a local economy, and thrive with our economy. We had our own banks. We had our own seamstresses. Like I said earlier, we have our own institutions. You want to talk about building cars and novel inventions. We've been behind every major invention, and some inventions that were taken from us and put in someone else's name. Like, for example, I'm a chemist, right? I'm a chemist. So when I was in a PhD program, you work under a principal investigator, which is a professor. So you have all these PhD students, and we're the ones that's in the lab, creating these, doing research, and maybe one of us may come out with something that is patentable. Now, the principal investigator, the professor, they get the credit. A lot of times, if it's novel, they could get the Nobel Peace Prize. But the people that actually were in the weeds, that actually understand the invention or patent, are the people below the person that got the name, that have the name around it. So I'm saying it all that to say is that we have people we have engineers, we have people that work for NASA, scientists. All smart people contribute in the process. We just live in a system where white people typically capitalize off our gains, and a lot of times it's just a head start. If I have an idea, 9 times out of 10, I don't have the financial support to grow my idea. There are tech people in Silicon Valley, for example. They can go to California and pitch their idea to these to these investors, and typically if they're white startup companies. But a black person, they don't have that outlet. So the ingenuity is there. You know what I mean? And it's systematic. There's systematic reasons why we don't have certain corporations, why we're not there yet. Another thing is we have to figure out what our lane was to survive. Our lane as black people has been entertainment. That's why we influence the world. That's why sports is what sports is. That's why music is because our lane has been entertainment. That's how we make money. That's how we become millionaires or even billionaires for the most part. That is what it is. It's a lane that other cultures, other black people don't have. We have our lane is entertainment. We have that. So the notion of, well, why aren't you just don't have this like white people, or just not as powerful as white people? Everything was a head start. White people had the gun first. The invention of the gun, the development, the advancement of the guns and weapons, they had it first. Everything boils down to who had what first. And the fact that they had gun first and have maintained power and leverage because they had things first, it kept them in power perpetually. So this is why we got off topic, but this is why I made the stream about, and I started the stream talking about the statement that God made in Genesis about Abraham. And I started talking about how God took a realm from Abraham and told him a nation of people will come from him and will live in bondage for 400 years. God was setting, just like he set Abraham up for salvation, that is God's plan to set up salvation for the people that do right by to do right by us. So that is what, at the end of the day, that is what we have as foundational Black Americans. We have prophecy that we are the chosen people. It is known, it is demonstrated, the action of these folks have demonstrated that we are the chosen people. And we are the chosen people. And the last thing I'm going to say is America has a judgment coming. Y'all be blessed. Peace out. Afro Sundays.